says, and he shall confirm a covenant with many. So I did a little research on the many, what the many means, and it means the populace or everyone.
Now, if some people say, yeah, but haven't there been other 7-year covenants? What makes this one different?
It's not just with Israel. It's not just with this party or that party. This one is with the whole earth.
Well, we've heard of Agenda 2030, and we knew now, from your other interviews that they were going to have, for COP28, a 7-year plan. But now they're like, excelling things with like saying we've got to push things, right away.
Yeah, and then just within the last few days, that Dubai, where they're going to do this, gets severely flooded by this huge storm, and they had several feet of water on the road. So it's like, I go, how fitting is this that this happens right before this event? And so if they follow the storm track, it's like this is one massive storm with several feet of water everywhere.
Okay, now on other interviews, you had talked about COP28, but can you just say briefly what it is and then how King Charles and the Pope are connected to this?
So he's going to open up this event. He's the first main speaker, and he's going to make a call to unite, to act and deliver on a 7-year covenant for a deal for 7 years. And then Pope Francis will open on December 2nd to embrace all of the faiths together as one to move forward on the climate agenda.
Said, okay, the 2030 agenda remains our commitment to the children and youth of today so that they may achieve their full human potential as critical agents, okay, the children.
Pope Francis asked all 7,000 children to chant, "Nature is our future." And so they chanted this I would say like a Gregorian chant, "Nature is our future, nature is our future."
So, okay, Pope Francis at a recent Vatican event asked the 7,000 children to chant what you just said, "Nature is our future." But then they had the children asking questions, and one being, can children save the earth? And the Pope expanded on that theme, and he said, are you concerned about the environment? This with a push with children, it reminds me of the scripture in Matthew 10:21. Now brother will deliver up brother to death and father his child, and children will rise up against parents and cause them to be put to death.
Well, to understand that, you'd have to see his speech from COP15 in Copenhagen. And from that event, he said there's 7 years to go. So that he was telling people back then. And so we're going to see
this message is for parents.
We're going to see that reiterated here in the next couple of days, that there's a time limit to embrace their goals. And that's a new Green Deal is basically what this boils down to. That they're stating 70,000. So we got all these numbers. So we got the 7,000 children. We got a 7-year plan. We got the 7,000 children. It's 2 years of really strong implementation, but it's followed by 3 more years. So the next they're going to assess it in 2 years at COP. It would be COP30 before the stock take begins. So this is a 7-year plan, but it's broken up in 2 years plus 3 years plus 2 more years.
This interview features Craig Bong, who's here to talk about the events that are taking place right now, and some of them really need our attention.
Israel and the UK signed a 7-year agreement as a roadmap that defines their bilateral cooperation until 2030. And will serve as a living document. Back in 1995, there was a card game put out called the Illuminati card game. And they have one of their cards is called End of Tape. And it says below that, the rapture happens.
I mean, you sent me this information that they want him to deliver information about that UFOs are real or what? Okay, tell me more about that.
There's a film going out on December 1st. That there's a call for him to make a statement following this film on UFOs, and that he needs to get a hold of Joe Biden to make a statement on UFOs and alien abductions. So this is the plan by Klaus Schwab, that there's going to be a global shock. Several weeks ago, we had everybody got an alert on their phone to prepare the world for this major catastrophic event. They're telling us that there's going to be a major global shock, but they're not telling you what it is. And they're indirectly telling us it has to do with an alien abduction. The film is called The King of UFOs. The person behind this film, his name is Pope. So Pope states there is somebody who could pick up the phone and say there is something going on in the United States. He could ask for a full classified briefing. So this is the name of this film is The King of UFOs, and it's aimed towards the royal family and King Charles.
Now, here the commenter talks about 2 important agreements, the Paris Agreement, and the agreement between the State of Israel and the United Kingdom. In this clip.
So the year was 2020, and with it came a major catastrophe. The whole world was shut down. The church in the whole world was in lockstep. And the teeth of this new beast system sunk deep. And so we have to ask, what was the reason behind this? So January of 2020, King Charles delivers to the world the plan for the Great Reset. And it was a 10-year plan. And today we're 3 years into that, and we got 7 years left.
Who have no idea when you see the book of Revelation that's written 2,000 years ago, that's just another Bible prophecy. It seems that the Pope is fulfilling being the false prophet. Yeah,
he's definitely fulfilling the false prophet, and you can see the same pattern being played out, but it's a 2-year setup that comes prior to this Paris Climate Agreement. COP28 will be the first global stocktake of the Paris Agreement. So the stocktake comes after 7 years. So we have 7 years since the implementation of the Paris Climate Agreement in 2016. COP28 has the vision to deliver on the pillars of the Paris Agreement. Everybody has to comply to the Sustainable Development Goals. That's what Leave No One Behind means. It's 100% compliance, or you're out.
I see.
We know based on tribulation time, what happens in the tribulation. It's the Christians that will, at that time, the saints that will be left out.
The next very important thing that is being mentioned by the commentator is the Great Reset that we all know took place when the whole world was shut down because of the COVID-19.
To the mark of the beast. So there'll be another pandemic, and then they'll bring about a digital ID after that pandemic. So part of the Paris Climate Agreement are these 17 goals, and it's for full control of you and I. The first day of COP28 will be on the World Climate Action Summit. This goes for 2 days. The third day is they'll be discussing health, relief, recovery, and peace. This is the whole day that's for peace and security on December 3rd. The fourth day is for finance, trade, gender equality, and accountability. So here we have the smart card being played out again. December 5th is on energy and industry and a just transition for indigenous peoples. December 6th will be a multi-level action, urbanization, and environmental transport. So they want to change the way how we move about. On the 7th of December is a day of rest. That's their Sabbath. It's a Thursday. December 8th will be focused on youth, children, and December 9th will be on nature, land use, and oceans. So December 9th connects with what King Charles wants to proclaim based on his document on May 5th to bring about 10 principles each year for the next 7 years on how we should, on land use and the oceans. So they have to produce a 7-year deal as per the Paris Climate Agreement, no later than December 12th. And that's what this document is about. And there's 701 points of this document.
Now, the mark of the beast is something that we all, as believers, should be concerned about, and all of the things, according to Craig Bong. One of the enjoyable aspects of watching technology march by like a parade, with all of the bands becoming smaller and rounder as time passes, is seeing new interpretations of the Bible based on the most recent achievements. Early last century, the mark of the beast was your social security card, which was most likely programmed into the beast's computer punch card and fed into Satan's mainframe. Following that, the mark of the beast was your credit card, and in the 1970s, the UPC symbol became the new mark, presumably due to the passage in Revelations that states, "And the mark was placed upon the Wonder Bread, both white and the kind they call wheat," even though it's basically a slightly more than version of the white stuff. RFID chips are now, unsurprisingly, the mark of the beast. It's not enough that they follow your transactions or steal your identity, but according to the commentator, they may also book you into the Hotel Inferno for eternity. Anyone who is awake, attentive, and familiar with the Bible can see that the world is rapidly approaching the mark of the beast. It is possible to witness the actual fulfillment of prophecy stated about 2,000 years ago. The book of Revelation describes a day when the world's government will require all citizens to have a mark in order to purchase and trade. Until recent technological and global mindset advancements, it was exceedingly unlikely that a world government would follow out this prophecy. Our world's identity concerns have grown increasingly complex. Donald Trump proposed to construct a wall along the southern border of the United States. He was doing that in order to identify those who can lawfully and legitimately join the United States. In recent years, Europe has seen an influx of refugees as a result of the chaos generated by ISIS. So we're constantly hearing from international leaders about the importance of being able to properly evaluate folks from other countries to determine who they are. Most identities nowadays are based on what you carry, that is your passport, driver's license, or other forms of identification such as credit cards, or what you remember, like your PIN or password. The problem with this sort of identification is that it can be misplaced, stolen, or altered. According to the commentator, there will be a time when the government will have full control over people by introducing new methods of implying modern technology, which will eventually lead everyone to have the mark of the beast.
By 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. That's where they're headed. And we were told that way back. There's a video online that stated that from the World Economic Forum. That's their total goal. And the way they want to implement this is through this draft resolution, I'll say. This was agreed upon at the UN General Assembly. We'll act with urgency to realize its vision as a plan of action for people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership, leaving no one behind. We also reaffirm that climate change is one of the greatest challenges of our time. So they believe that man can control the weather. It says we will devote ourselves collectively to pursuit of sustainable development, including through international cooperation. So anytime they say that there's international cooperation or they're strengthening the goals, this is how they're confirming the covenant with everyone.
Ooh, okay.
And
how would they digitize the children? I mean, is that connected with Neuralink?
Probably Neuralink. They're saying what is on your phone today will eventually be in your body. I just read that this morning on their agenda. It's like, I can't believe this. So what you're doing with your iPhone today or your Samsung phone, they'll eventually be inside your body. And this is what they want to implement within 4 years. They've been kicking the can for years and years and years, like it's never going to happen. But now they're really pushing for it, and now they have the mandate to do the 7-year deal. It says we commit to taking continuous, fundamental, transformative, and urgent actions at all levels and by all stakeholders. That's everyone, to overcome the crisis and obstacles facing our world. We recognize the urgent need to take actions necessary to reverse declines and accelerate progress to achieve the 2030 agenda and implement the SDGs. And this may be why during the tribulation that people will wish that they could die, but they can't because they've taken. This may be why during the tribulation that people will wish that they could die, but they can't because they've taken something that keeps them from dying.
Yep, I've thought about that. Yep, absolutely. So, that's just another fulfillment of Bible prophecy.
You have what's going on in Israel. You're probably going to have the fall of Damascus, the fall of Iran's nuclear plant, and possibly the Ezekiel 38 war as well. So you have a lot of things coming together all at once.
The very last